Hello, my name is Naomi Thomas, and I will be discussing Nella Larsen's Quicksand and Passing. In each of these novellas, Larsen utilizes the mobility of African American women to maneuver ideologies like identity, racism, sexism, and classism. The lives of the characters Claire and Irene in Passing and Helga in Quicksand will be dissected to demonstrate Larsen's emphasis on identity crisis, racism, sexism, and classism. In many of Larsen's works, she places emphasis on the struggles African American women faced in the 1920s. In each of these novellas, she is also able to emphasize the protagonist's struggles using two completely different storylines. In Quicksand, Larsen raises the issue of interracial marriage in relationship to the mobility of young African American women in the 1920s. Helga is portrayed as a lucky young woman since she is able to freely move about and do as she pleases. Although she does as she pleases, readers become aware that she suffers consequences and struggles with her own identity as a result. Her struggle with her identity strongly impacts her ability to be happy. She is a very confused and eager young woman who is constantly seeking her role and purpose in life. Her constant desire to move around and experience different environments, like leaving from Naxos to Chicago and Chicago to Harlem, speaks to her inability to identify with a race, a place, and a group of people. This results in her unhappiness, but assists her in her free decision making when it comes to choosing whom to marry or where to live and even who to be. In the South, Helga knew that the way students were being taught was hypocritical and their education was essentially hopeless. She then left Chicago because she felt she needed to be a part of something bigger. The art movement in Chicago was just the place for a girl like her. Helga is a modern woman of the 1920s, but she adapts to expectations upheld by society and marries a Southern preacher with whom she miserably has 5 children. Since interracial marriage not only was frowned upon but also illegal, she realizes that although she could marry in Denmark, she would have to eventually return to the U.S., where she would appear with her white husband, and this would be problematic. She is aware that she wouldn't ever be happy since in Denmark she would be the only person of color. She tells her Olsen that she wouldn't marry him because of the pain it would cause not only her, but possible children as well. Helga has always believed that marriage means children, and she refuses to bring oppressed African American children into the world. Interracial marriage appears to be one of Helga's biggest fears, and this is because of the interracial union between her parents and the harmful life it has caused her to live. In her rejection to her Olsen's proposal, Helga suggests that they would eventually come to hate one another. Helga lives in post-Reconstruction Jim Crow, where skin color is paramount, and being of mixed race, she is forced to choose who she wants to be. After running from Naxos, Chicago, and New York, she goes to Copenhagen, where she is held to a higher standard and is treated differently than others. She then realizes that she will always be treated differently. In Denmark, she has a realization that she hasn't run from much since she's still being treated different. Helga is consistently seeking her identity as a member of society, and America has caused her to believe that it isn't alright to be mixed race. She is left to resent who she is, and this is why she can't decide who she wants to be. In Larsen's Passing, she explores a variety of classism, sexism, racism, and identity issues through the act of 1920s passing. Passing is an individualistic practice and fundamentally a social act with social consequences. Those who passed made it difficult to be found. They changed their names, hair color, learned how to dress, and their mannerism. They forced themselves to adjust to the lifestyles of white people. With this came so many benefits. They lived in better neighborhoods, attended social gatherings, they were addressed as Mr. and Mrs., and for once, they were looked at as equal, unless they were a woman, of course. However, women were still pastors were left with no choice but to compromise their identities and leave those who loved them for a life of comfort and freedom. Would we consider passing as a selfish act, or is passing something that should be justified? We know that passing was at times a choice, but at times it was also non-optional. Since for some it was non-optional, does that mean those families sacrificed or compromised their love for the comfort of the pastor? Pastors saw the world as a place they needed to survive in, and when it was a choice, they didn't think twice about the harm it may do for a mother, a sister, or a father. In Nella Larsen's novella Passing, we are introduced to two women who pass. Claire feels obligated to pass for a life of comfort and security, while the other, Irene, passes for conveniences. Similarly to the average pastor I described before, Claire is one who chose to pass, compromised her identity, but never felt the need to change her name because she didn't have a family to manipulate the life she is now living. As Claire passes day to day, Irene passes for the luxuries in life, such as ordering a glass of iced tea, calling cabs, and getting movie tickets. Overall, passing demonstrates the ignorance of a white society. Whiteness has never been based on appearance alone. It was also based on dress, behavior, and mannerism. Skin tone and physical appearances were typically less reliable factors, and this contributed to the ignorance of whites. In a sense, passing made fun of a white societal system. This was a joke at the expense of their whiteness. In each of these novellas, we see overlap in the struggles these women face. A common struggle in each of these is identity, and this is because of the society America has allowed African Americans, especially African American women, to live in.